Hello and welcome to the Purpose Cycle podcast, the podcast that gives you impactful practices to build towards fruition and fulfillment. Here's a taste of what we've got in store for you today.
I really need to push a good message through music, and going to Adhd Man Club made me realise a lot of things about myself. And, like, if you're having any kind of thoughts or any kind of anxiety, overthinking, it's a problem to you, so you need to address it, and you should address it, and there's some great services out there for everyone. If you're in the chart, then obviously people want to learn how to make music like you, so the courses will get bigger and better, which means the samples and the rest of it will get bigger and better, which means the whole umbrella of music just grows and everyone wants to know you. And of course, as the records are getting bigger, everything just grows. Your name grows, your statue grows, the live streams will get bigger, the YouTube will get bigger. So it's kind of like, I know what I need to do to get there, so that's the main aim, is getting the record. You've got to land the big record.
How much does the mental side then underpin everything else? Because you said, you know, you've tried the chicken and rice, chicken and veg before bed and all that before. You've tried, you know, lifting weights and doing all of this, but until you've got your mind sorted, that the rest couldn't be sustainable. How crucial is that? And for you, how was that first? Because I know that you're an ambassador of Adhd Man Club. How did that first sort of experience come about? Because I can imagine it's a pretty daunting thing to address yourself and think, right, I need to go and sort this out.
Yeah. So for me, it was obviously when I was DJing and stuff. It's hard to explain. I think I've always had and social anxiety and stuff. Like, it's crazy to say as a DJ, I am very socially anxious. Like, it's one of them. I preempt everything so much in my head, and then when it comes to it, I'm just like, why was I even worried? Like, that is me in a nutshell. Like, I build something up to like this, and then when I do it, it's like, even like filming a wedding the night before, I'm like overthinking, and then I get there and I'm like, I have the time of my life. Going to a gig, time of my life. Everything I do, I have the time of my life, and I love it. But that pre-nerve kind of like anxiety is crazy, and I've always had that. But it wasn't until end of 2018, I lost my best friend to suicide, which obviously is a grievance situation, but it opened up a lot of problems, I guess, to myself. You know, it made me address everything. And obviously going to Adhd Man Club was like, it was like, how do you describe it? Like, just being honest with myself. Not nothing real deep, you know. I'm very lucky, mate. I've got a solid family, a solid relationship, a solid lifestyle. You know, I've got no demons, I guess, but just addressing why I was always anxious and why I was 100 miles an hour and thoughts were running through my head, and nothing, mate. Honestly, it feels stupid to say sometimes, because a lot of it's not, for me, it's not negative. It's just I couldn't catch my thoughts, I couldn't focus, I couldn't do all these things. So then going to Adhd Man Club was obviously, I was going with my grievance and stuff, and I wanted to get answers and know why, like, suicides. I was quite naive, to be honest, with suicide. I'll happily admit I was very naive. I'd not experienced it before. I'd not even thought. I knew, obviously I was aware about it, and I was empathetic like everyone else. Like, I understood it, kind of thing. But I wasn't in. I don't think until you experience something you can really truly know how it feels, you know. Like, and as soon as I experienced that, I was like, right, I need to make a change. And at this point, obviously, I've started getting a good bit of a following, and I thought, I really need to push a good message through music. And going to Adhd Man Club made me realise a lot of things about myself. And the main thing, what I realised and what has changed, you say about the chicken and rice thing, it's quite funny, is I actually found out I've got ADHD. So for me, it was a mad thing, because it explained everything in my head. Like, I can't, like, even now I'm still randomly thinking about bits and bobs. But the good thing is with ADHD is, a lot of people think you can't focus. I disagree. You either are hyper focused, like now I'm fully like focused on this, or you just can't focus. If I'm not interested, I probably won't focus. Like, if I'm sat waiting and stuff in a doctor's or something, I will literally be like impatient, I can't sit still. But when I'm enjoying something, or when I'm focused, it's something I enjoy. Like, music was my therapy, because I get hyper focused, and I can't. If it's dangerous, because then you can't stop focusing. So, for example, like, if I go on my computer now and start making music, sometimes you won't see me again till like 11 o'clock at night, and I honestly don't know what I've been doing for 12 hours, but it works. So yeah, like you said about the chicken and rice thing. Obviously, one thing that I did work for me was cutting out my sugars and stuff, because my sugar, having too much sugar and ADHD and caffeine was just boom, it was messing my head up. Whereas now it's like black coffee, I maybe have one Red Bull every now and again, but like I won't just sit and drink Lucozade all day and all that like I used to, because I used to think that was what kept me up, but it was what was sending me doolally. So yeah, dressing, that was great. And then obviously Andy's Man Club's just been like a blessing, because I started going for my own problems, and now I help kind of not run it, but I help run the club. If that like I do a bit ambassador. Not it's a term I do use, but I kind of cringe using, because it's like I only really say it is because it's like that way I can have it like loud and proud in all my kind of social media bios or whatever they're called, not to look like I don't know how to describe it, just so straight away people see it. And like Andy's Man Club mental health, like it's almost like an advertisement for them in a sense. And it's never really been discussed with them, but they're kind of like happy to run with it, because I have obviously raised good awareness, and I do raise money for them, and it's quite humbling, because people sometimes turn up who I don't actually know, and they're like, oh, I saw it on Ben's social media, and I'm like, that is exactly why I'm doing what I'm doing. And you know, it can be easy to use mental health as like some people kind of like sit behind it and like, oh yeah, I ambassador and I do this to look quite like eco-friendly in a sense, like look like they're doing something. But what a lot of people I don't speak about is like the stuff we are actually doing behind the scenes is genuinely like there's a lot, you know, raising money, raising awareness, putting on events and donating all the bar takings to Andy's Man Club to start more groups, to start more conversations, to start more men. I have a theory where it's like if I can help one person stop if I can stop one like lad my age going through what I went through when I lost my best friend, then my job's done. And I don't really want to like say it, but I know I've done that 3 or 4 times at least in the last 2 years, and I know the people that I've done it to, they know they are after listening. I'm not going to mention their names, but like I've stopped people going through that, and it's just so nice to know that they don't have to feel the way we all felt when we had our hearts broken, kind of thing. So it's like that's my motive, you know what I mean? That's my motivation for doing things, mate.
Yeah, that's really powerful. And for me, just listening there, because I've spoken to you about before, like I lost my best friend in 2014 to a heart condition, and I went through my sort of 20s there really. I was thinking, well, I'm not at a point where I'm like suicidal, or if I'm really, you know, I'm not really, really down, so I don't need to go and access these things. But what you just said then, it wasn't necessarily a dark place for you. It's a bit like you don't have to be 20, you know, you don't have to be 28 stone to go to the gym. You can still be in condition and work out on your physical health. So you can still be in a relatively good place, but you need that clarity. You need that
that's exactly what it is. Right? Yeah.
And that's something that maybe when I'm reflecting now, I should have accessed, because it was only maybe, I'd say a year ago, 18 months ago, where I turned around to my partner and said, I'm coping. I'm now coping with grief. It doesn't have to be severe. And I think that's really important. It's a mind workout. Like you said, music is your therapy.
Yeah.
Finding your own therapy there as well. And I'm now just picking apart Ben Rainey, the brand, and the DJ, and Ben Rainey, the person. Obviously, you're very, very authentic. But is there ever a point where you have an imposter syndrome, where you're there, you think all these anxieties and things come up, and you're like, what am I doing here?
Yeah. Just wanted to firstly say, you know, when you're saying about it doesn't have to be like deep and stuff. Just I wanted to jump in quickly and say, like, a problem to you is a problem to you. You know what I'm saying? Like you say, you don't have to be 28 stone to go to the gym, but like for example, I'm not particularly large size, but I still feel out of shape, and it's still conscious on me. I didn't have, like when you said I'm not depressed, but I'm not under. You know what I mean? Like you didn't feel. I've never felt like suicidal, but like if you're having any kind of thoughts or any kind of anxiety, overthinking, it's a problem to you, so you need to address it, and you should address it. And there's some great services out there for everyone. And I think that's one of the biggest taboos and grey areas with mental health is some people do think you have to be suicidal to get help, and you really don't. Like a lot of the lads I speak to and deal with, you'd be surprised how many of them have never really had suicidal thoughts. It's all just like general life. A lot of it's general life, mate, like mortgages and payments and stress and bills and, you know, having a baby, what do I do? And people come with all different thoughts, mate. You'd be surprised. Like some people are just lonely. Some people don't have no one to talk to. So if anyone is listening and thinks things about that, like I just wanted to straighten that one out. Like you don't have to. Like you say, you wish you did it because you know now you don't have to be so deep into it to get help, mate.
Do you know what's ridiculous as well in that context? I've got quite a large group of mates who all went through that together, but each of us individually felt really lonely, and we didn't even speak. None of us realised that until maybe, like I say, about a year ago, after 5 years.
Thinking a bit more about it.
So that's crazy. How and like I say, you don't have to be living alone to feel lonely, or you could be surrounded by everyone. But and what you said about understanding, what you said about understanding of not, unless you go, then you develop more of a broadened understanding. I think, really important message for anyone listening.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
A really positive experience from seeing what Ben's going through with Andy's Man Club, and I keep saying to myself, I'll turn up one. I'll go one day.
Yeah,
that first step. How was that first step for you? Because I'm quite daunted by going. Although
you know what? That's such a good little interlude question before we move on, because I think that's one of the things that a lot of people fear the most, and the amount of people that come and have sat outside 4 weeks in a row and not come in. And I think all I can say is, mate, once you've made that step into that building, you've committed to it, like you've done the hardest thing. Like once you get in your car and drive there on a Monday night, you've committed to it. And honestly, the amount of lads that come in on a Monday so nervous and daunted, and then they get there and they're like, wow, was I nervous? Like, it's such you build up a picture in your head of it being so daunting and like a doctor's waiting room and real quiet. It's the complete opposite. It's almost like going to a football match. Like everyone's in there and like, obviously not at the minute, but usually it's like shaking hands and having a coffee, and it's like a lad culture in a sense. And then you get in the room and it kind of, everyone knows what we're there for. So it's like the mutual respect's there, but the banter's still there, mate. Like it's not like sometimes we're laughing, we're having laughter tears. Like obviously there is an element of seriousness about it. I don't want to knock that at all, but you'd be so surprised how like laid back it is. And I think the best advice I can give to people is like, come with someone or bring someone with you, because the amount of people that like bring the dad or bring the brother, and then the brother's just there to support them, but then the brother ends up addressing things that they never thought they would. And honestly, it's such a powerful thing. Like sometimes we've had cases where someone's brought someone else, the other guy that they brought has stopped coming and they've carried on. Like it's such a powerful movement. And I always say, like, for example, like yourself, like anyone I know, I take a lot of people with me, so like they don't have to do the step on their own. And like once you've been in, like I took a guy not long ago. We are still running in lockdown in person because it's an essential. It's been classed as an essential, which is rightly so. It's a mental health movement. So I took a guy 4 weeks ago. Took him. He was nervous, and then he had the best experience. And like he said, then on the night he got back to his missus, and the conversation was just completely different. And his missus even turned around and said, "You're such a different person." And now he just goes on his own. I see him there. We obviously we don't shake hands. We just nod. It's all social distance at the minute, but it's just in 4 weeks he's gone from not being able to walk through the door on his own to being one of the lads at the group. And it's such a powerful thing, mate. And I think anyone that's on the fence should either go with someone or message me. I've taken people before, I've never met them before, and I've picked them up. You know, that's how much I believe in the group.
Yeah, definitely. And they're all over the country, aren't they, these Andy's Man Club? So you don't have to be listening from Hull to go and attend one. They're all over the country.
And they're opening in new places. That's what, when you raise money for Andy's Man Club, what a lot of people don't realise is it doesn't go to the groups that are running, it goes to opening new groups. And that's why I'm so passionate about raising money for him, because some people think, why do you keep raising money for Andy's Man Club? They've got enough. But we haven't, because we're opening new groups with that money, you know what I mean? Like it goes to paying for new venues, or for even just like daft things like marketing, coffees, like just the essential things like the merchandise, what you see a lot of people wearing, like it gets a lot of it's free. So like it pays for all the printing and stuff.
Yeah, definitely something. I keep saying definitely something that I want to go to. It is, but it's again taking that first step. So hopefully by the next time we have a conversation, we'll have taken that first step. Like I say, I've sort of put that grief to, compartmentalized it into my brain. Know it's going to be a part of my life and being able to deal with it. Yeah. But there's still other things. There's work. There's, like you say, mortgages. There's all sorts going on that people need to address. It's not just for, like a depressive state or anxiety. It can be for a multitude of things. So I definitely agree with you there. And in terms of that, then, you go into Andy's Man Club. You're feeling a lot lighter in yourself. Then a bad day happens. How do you then cope with that bad day, that obstacle that knocks you off your momentum?
No, that's a real good question, mate. And that's one thing that people have to be honest about, and they need to know is that like no one's a superhero 24/7. a lot of people see me as a very positive person, very like larger than life. And don't get me wrong, I am, and like you say, it's all genuine persona. But there's been times, like for example, like with the live streams, I kind of said I've marketed it as I'll do it every Wednesday and Saturday. But then sometimes a Wednesday comes and I literally don't want to do it, and I won't do it because you can't force. You know, it kind of loops into what you were saying about the whole imposter syndrome. Like for me, it's if I'm not feeling something, that's when I feel like an imposter, and that's when I guess I'm having a down day. So like if I am feeling like that, you've just got to be honest with yourself, mate. Like for example, like there's some like as we're coming up to Christmas, yeah. Like now, I don't know if I was meant to say that, but we're recording this 3 days before Christmas.
It's fine, yeah.
Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I know it's going out a little bit late, but we're recording this 3 days before Christmas, and I think you've got to think like obviously I'm self-employed, I'm a musician, I'm 24/7 pretty much. The world's slowing down. Everyone's getting into Christmas mode. So naturally, I'm slowing down a little bit. And like I'm my office, my studio is in the center of Beverley, which is a gorgeous place, especially at Christmas. I'm looking out my window. There's families having coffees and chilling and drinking, and I'm sat here trying to keep grinding. And my mum obviously is at home getting ready for Christmas. My dad's slowly breaking away from work. My sister's stopped working as she's a teacher. So everyone around me is kind of slowing down, and it's naturally making me slow down. But the problem I have is if I'm not productive, that's when I start getting anxious and stuff. And productivity and creativity is my mental like remedy, if that makes sense. Like that's my kind of therapy for myself, like being productive, not just being busy, because that's what I used to do. I used to make myself busy to cover up, the grieving and stuff when my friend like passed and stuff. But now it's creative, and when I go home, if I do something productive now and it takes me 2 hours and I go home, I'm happy to sit there and do nothing. But if I just sit there and do nothing and I haven't been productive, that's when I start feeling crap. But sometimes you just physically are having a bad day. Like I sometimes wake up and I just can't get out of gear one. I can't get productive. I can't get motivated. And you've either got to address that and accept that and stop trying to force it. Or a lot of the time it's going for a walk, ringing a friend, sometimes even just down to like it sounds daft, but like have a green tea or something and do something different, log off social media for the day. I was saying this last night at Andy's Man Club that with what's it called? With like feeling down and stuff or anything, it's the simple things, doing the simple things consistently, like exercise, sleep, cutting the sugars, cutting the social media usage down, staying productive. They're the 5 things what really keep me flowing. And if I only do maybe 1 or 2 or 2 or 3, that's when the signs start to come. That's when the cracks start to show. So then the next day I need to get back on the wagon, or it's just consistency, John. And I think that's one thing what a lot of people, it's the same with you with the podcast. You've got to keep at it, mate, because I try a lot. Even though I've been successful with things, the amount of things I've tried, done for a couple of days and quit because I ain't stuck with. So honestly, consistency will always win. Consistency will beat talent as well in anything, because with the music, I am really consistent. I'm constantly making it. I'm constantly doing my mixes, and that's why my following and stuff does grow. My name is circulating more because there probably won't be longer than 2 or 3 days on social media you can go without seeing my name or seeing a video, and that's the difference between a lot of people that pop up now and again, and then you go, oh, fucking hell, I haven't seen what he's been doing for a while, and then they're gone again. Whereas I'm always showing it, and that's the side that you have to do, which is what I'm good at, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. And consistency, I was about to ask you then about sort of the 5 key components for you then, but you've covered it, so that's fantastic. And with that in mind then, that you applying those consistently, all 5 of those, we'll talk about a creation stage of the cycle, and this is the bit where you are in full flow, you're doing what you're doing now, and you're building towards a future picture. What does a day in the life, the average sort of day in the life for Ben Rainey look like at the moment?
Yeah, good question, mate.
Maybe not now because it's Christmas, but you know what I mean.
So normal days probably. I think the most difficult thing for me is because I'm self-employed and there's no one on my back is routine. So consistency and routine I do struggle with. I mean, consistency I don't, because I get it done either way. But like most days, it's like get out of bed at 7, 8. Sometimes a little bit later if I'm feeling thingy. I'm lucky that I don't have to. Like for example, today I got out a little bit late, but I needed the sleep and I feel better for it. So, get up, little black coffee out the Dolce Gusto. go for a run or a bike ride or a walk, depending on the weather or how I'm feeling. And I try and stay off social media for like the first part of the day, just so it doesn't bog me down. Try not to read emails, try not to like go into my messages and stuff. Go for my run, listen to a podcast, whatever. More podcasts than music, because obviously the music's coming later in the day. Then I'll probably get home, breakfast, or if I'm fasting, which I do quite a lot, I'll just get ready. I'll come to the office for about 10, 11. Like today, for example, today I was here for 10 for this. Then it will be check the emails, go through everything. I have like a good scrape of my social messages and make sure no one's called me out as an imposter, or make sure I ain't got any hate mail. No, just replying to people about like random different things, because obviously I do have a lot of different businesses and different things going on. I sell products online, so making sure everything customer service is good. I'm a one-man band with pretty much everything I do. I don't have anyone else doing it. Right. So yeah, emails. If there's any problems urgently to sort, or there's any messages of attention, I'll get stuck in with them. And I always like write a bit of a list of like 3 main things to do. So for example, today I've got to post out some USB sticks which people have bought off me. I've got to finish a track what I'm working on, just like get the end product ready so I can relax at Christmas, and then I'm going to record a mix. So there's my 3 main things. And like I say about the being productive, once I get them 3 things done, that's when I can relax. But if I don't get them 3 things done, that's when I maybe go into overdrive. But yeah, it is difficult because every day is different. But in general, I kind of set that rule of thumb is like, go for a bit of exercise in the morning, don't go on my phone, listen to a podcast, then set my tasks for the day and get them tasks done. Obviously, them tasks are different every day, because some day it's music, some day it might be like editing my videos for weddings, or I do a lot of YouTube videos. So, like, for example, today, obviously, we're doing this, so this is a little bit different. But with it being Christmas, like I say, my routine is a little bit all over the shop at the minute anyway.
Oh, fantastic. And then you said about the 3 main things. Once you've completed those 3 things, do you ever find yourself going again and accomplishing more and more and more with the momentum that you're building throughout the day?
Yeah, massively. Well, what I do is the 3 main things are usually like my essentials, and then I have like a little. I do it all. I don't actually write the list. I do it all in my iPhone notes. I've got a to-do list, and then it'll be like sometimes I'll plan it for the week. So I'll be like Monday the 3 things, Tuesday I've got 3 things, Wednesday. So every day is kind of semi-planned. Not always goes to plan, but then if I do get everything done and I've got time on my hand, I also have a bits and bobs list, which is kind of like your average dad's kind of list off the wife, like what he misses telling you to do. So like I've just got like a little list, like for example, like a daft thing on my bits and bobs list today, which I will do. I've got a puncture on my bike. I can't obviously go for bike ride, so I'm in Beverley. Minster Cycles is around the corner, so I'll take the on my dinner break, which will be kind of like when I'm having a bit of a breather. I'll just take that down there, get that puncture, get that a new inner tube or whatever. So it's like they're just like daft things, things that are like. I know I've got to get my Christmas card sorted today and my wrapping, so that'll be on my bits and bobs. But it's not really, even though it's a priority, really, because I need to do it. It's not a priority to me because music and stuff comes first.
Yeah.
I'd rather give the presents in tinfoil and get the music finished.
Exactly. Yeah. It's a good way of looking at it. Yeah, and by the end of the day, you think, "Wow, I've managed to do my 3 essentials, and I've managed to do all these little jobs as well." That can, over time, be like, oh, never got round to them. That's brilliant. So then, picturing all of the sort of creation that you're doing now, you're doing the streaming, you're bringing out new records all of the time, you're making online content. Mm-hmm. What does the end then look like? Maybe not the end, but sort of fruition. How does it all build up? How does it all reap in about maybe 10 years, 5 years? What's the plan?
Yeah. So obviously there is different strains to what I'm doing. Just a bit more context on that. So obviously I'm making records. Obviously DJing's on the back burner. I also do a lot of online content, what John was saying. So basically I do I've started like an educational platform on my YouTube, which is basically just tutorials on how to make music, how to DJ. And then on the back of that, I sell courses. So for example, on YouTube, I'll give a lot of tips out, but then it kind of upsells the course. Yeah. Not in like a market. It is marketing, but I am giving a lot of free information out. But it's kind of like, right, if you want more, then buy the courses. So I've got the educational arm of things, and then I do sell like I sell online resources to DJs and producers. So like I sell packs of samples, which is basically like what producers can use for the music. I sell like templates that they can use to start making music from. Obviously I was selling USB sticks, which is coming to an end really. but a lot of that was for I did donate the profits to Andy's Man Club. To be fair, for a lot of that, I have made money off it, but a lot of the profits went to Andy's Man Club. So I sold my own music on a USB, which just basically buying an album, but on a USB stick. So I've got them things. Obviously, I've got the weddings and stuff, which are great. But I think the end goal and what I'm looking to do is obviously the records I'm making at the minute are on a kind of bubbling. They're doing good, but your big major labels are where you're hearing the tracks on the radio all the time, like your Joel Corey's and things like that. The big kind of artists. I'm pushing for that, and things are slowly happening with that. I'm getting in with the right people. I'm talking to the right people. So obviously, if them tracks get on the radio, that's when the bigger gigs come. So it all kind of once your look gets better once you get that on that shelf. So if one thing goes off, the rest of it will pop. So for example, my aim is to get the big record, which goes in the charts. It goes on the radio. Everyone's listening to it, millions of streams, which I'm not far off. I have had quite a lot of good big tracks, but not to that level. So once that happens, it's like an umbrella. The gigs will get bigger and better. The money will go up. The statue, the stage will get bigger. The audiences will get bigger. Off the back of that, the courses will sell more because everyone wants to buy a course of the guy that's made it. Obviously, they are doing all right anyway because I have built up a good repertoire. But if you're in the chart, then obviously people want to learn how to make music like you. So the courses will get bigger and better, which means the samples and the rest of it will get bigger and better, which means the whole umbrella of music just grows and everyone wants to know you. And of course, as the records are getting bigger, everything just grows. Your name grows, your statue grows, the live streams will get bigger, the YouTube will get bigger. So it's kind of like, I know what I need to do to get there. So that's the main aim, is getting the record. You've got to land the big record. But the good thing is for me is without the big record, they're all still growing. So that's the music umbrella. And then obviously I do film weddings, which I just love doing, mate. And I think no matter what happens with the music, I'll always do that. And I think it's something away from music that I've got. So I'm not putting all my eggs in one basket. And also it takes away that pressure because, it is obviously it's a good income. It's a good career. It's a good sustainable, obviously not at the minute, weddings aren't great, but weddings aren't really going to go anywhere. They might be on hold at the minute, but it's an industry which is always going to need what I can supply. It's supply and demand, isn't it? So, and obviously I've built up a good repertoire in that industry, and also my style and the way I've done it is kind of through the DJ and through my personality, through my authenticity, that people like having me there on their wedding day because I do bring good vibes as well as hopefully deliver good product at the end of it. So I do love doing that, and I don't think that's ever going to stop. I don't think I have I don't think I've really thought about a long aim. I think I just want to keep going with that, and I just keep, my reputation's growing, and obviously with that your prices go up and everything else, and it's great to be doing that. But I kind of see that as a bit of a passion project, and I think if by 40 or 50 don't want to go DJ because I've got a family and stuff, I can always do that and make records. That's kind of my main aim, is make records. But I think looking further than that, kind of something I mentioned earlier, I really would love to have a music academy. A bit like, Luke Campbell's just opened a gym, Tommy Cole's got his gyms, the boxers are doing it, the sports lads in Hull, like Liam Cooper from Hull, plays for Leeds United. He's got his own footballing academy now where he teaches kids. I think it might be in Leeds. I don't think it's in Hull, but I'm sure that will come to Hull eventually. So I think there needs to be something for music. There is a couple of things, like there's a record label on Marina. There's a place called, I think it's Warren Records, on Queen's Gardens. I think it's called that. I don't want to get that wrong. I think it's called Warren. I'm sure you can go there. And there is a bit more DJing coming into education. I know there's a few services in schools now, but again, not a lot around here. I've not really seen a lot around here. I think there is a few lads that have done it in schools, and there is a few courses here and there. But I think being a Hull lad and building my reputation in Hull mainly, where people know me, and I think I've got a good connection, and I think I could definitely do something for music within Hull, given the right educated platform. I think I've got the tools to do it, but I don't know how it'd work in terms of getting in the education system on the syllabus, getting the funding to build an academy or something, doing it the right way. I think I'd need a bit of help with that side of things, but it's definitely something once I've sustained the music and the weddings, I think that's my next thing to look at, is educating the kids, really.
Yeah, brilliant. Well, very, very, very inspiring. And for those who are listening, who are thinking of becoming content makers, becoming DJs, thinking about enrolling on your courses, why is it so important to invest in yourself early on in your career?
Yeah, mate, literally that is my best, that is my advice, is invest early. And because I think we all look back, for example, I never learned the piano, and now if I'd have done that, I'd have been tenfold further than I am, because that's what holds me back. And I think if you can learn skills from early, it becomes second nature, doesn't it? You know, like riding a bike. I always refer it to this as like, when we drive our cars, we don't really think about what we're doing. It's kind of like muscle memory / autopilot. And a lot of the time, like when you drive somewhere, if I asked you to recite how you drove, you won't be able to tell me what gears you was in and how fast you was going, because you just do it. You just know. So when you build up a skill early, it becomes that autopilot. Like, you know yourself with education, if you get it in your system early, you become good at it. Like the best students in the school are the ones that learn early and understood, and you grow. And you're always playing catch up if you don't know something. So if you can invest early and get the core skills right, like DJing, for example, I was going on courses. I was paying people to teach me. I was paying people to teach me how to music. So I have kind of accelerated quickly in my skills, because you've known me from a young age. Like, I don't think I was ever really known for music and DJing when I was a kid. I didn't play any instruments. No, you couldn't really. I was known for football. We knew each other through like family and football, really, wasn't it? Like,
Yeah.
There was no real music thing in there. Whereas if I was learning music then, I'd probably be more of a musician than a producer and a DJ, because I'm not really the one to sit in the studio and play the piano. Don't get me wrong, I do make musical and I do make piano style music, but a lot of it's like drag and drop and kind of like trial and error for me. Whereas I wish I could just sit down and play it. And I think if you're interested in something at a young age and your parents support it, it's more to the parents, I guess. Like, you know, believe, like, and a lot of, you know what a lot of parents do? A lot of parents come to me and say, look, I want to invest a bit of money into my kid making music and DJing. Where can I go? And that's why I did the courses. And do you know, kind of the imposter syndrome thing is, the imposter syndrome for me comes in when money's involved, because I love what I do, but at the end of the day, I have to get paid for it.
Yeah.
So I charge for my courses. I charge to DJ. And that's when I start getting imposter syndrome. Like, am I really getting paid for this? Are people really buying my courses? Is it even worth it? How am I a teacher now? Like, I ain't been to school. I ain't been to university. I don't know how to teach people. And all these things cross your mind. And when I was recording the courses, I'm thinking, is this right? Is this wrong? But that's the way I know it. And the feedback I get, John, honestly, it's like, just authentic again. And like, I did that to help people, but at the same time, I have to make a living. So it's like, it works both ways. But yeah, that's when just to go back on the old question that you asked, is that's when I get the imposter syndrome personally. But yeah, in terms of advice, mate, it's just literally, if you're passionate about something and if your kids are passionate about it, believe in it, because the best thing you can invest into something is time. Not even money, because there's a lot of free things out there. You don't obviously, I'm not trying to upsell no courses or that I've got. Like, you can find a lot on YouTube, but a lot of people will give you like 75%, and then they'll try and sell a course afterwards. You can learn a lot.
It is important to know your own value as well, though. So yeah, you do give a lot. You do give a lot, but then I think that you've earned that right to then charge and know your own worth, and then be able to deliver that key part of the knowledge that got you to where you are today. Because, like you say, you have to invest in yourself. You have to pay for a gym membership. You have to, pay for this, pay for that. So then, I mean, I found from the lockdown, I've never been a reader ever. And I've just decided that was the first thing to sort of mentally. The best thing to do was to invest in books and begin reading. And I found it's worked so well. And then I've ended up, becoming or wanting to become a writer, which I never thought I would be. I've always been a sporty kid, and I'd never read. There were teachers if any of my old teachers are listening to this, they'll think he never read at school. But that's how you change, and how I wish I'd done it earlier, like you with the piano. But I bet when you was playing rugby and all of that, you've got all the rugby lads saying
it was never a thing, was it?
No, you can't learn the piano at the same time. You might have got a bit of stick. So, but you've got to see the big picture.
The bigger picture, yeah. No, it's funny you say that. Go on, mate. Sorry.
No, sorry. No. Go on.
No, it's funny you say that about do you know when you said about your reading and stuff through lockdown? Like, that's the good thing about lockdown, is people have picked up a lot of good skills. Like, I'm hearing that of you is great, because I'm hearing about so many people starting new hobbies, habits, and that's the beauty of lockdown. I mean, don't get me wrong, that God bless anyone that's lost people or anyone that's struggled mentally, and we all have I've faced battles, and we all have, and some days are better than others. But I think if you can come out of the other side with a new skill or a new hobby or just a new way of looking at life, I think everyone can benefit from this in a sense. Stay safe, stay at home, and just just try and pick up a new hobby. And like I say, a lot of people seem to have, and hearing that from you is great, mate. You know, to know that you've done that as well.
Suit Up Apparel is a new menswear company who provide customers with a compelling range of products that combine looking amazing with comfort. The team at Suit Up Apparel know how testing the day-to-day grind can be, so they have focused their collections around one simple phrase: look great, perform even better. Suit Up are offering the Purpose Cycle podcast listeners 10% off future orders by using the code PURPOSE at checkout as well. Go on to suitupapparel.co.uk, that's suitupapparel.co.uk to see the fantastic products on offer, and remember, stay sharp and suit up.
Yeah. Well, a couple of questions to finish, Ben. Thanks for your time. And first of all, what sort of legacy do you want to leave behind?
I've never really thought about it, to be honest, because I don't really. Again, I think what works for me is I don't look at myself as just anything. I don't. You know what we were saying earlier? Like, I don't see it as building a legacy. I think the only thing I want is for people. I've always said you can be the best in the world at anything, but I care more about being a nice guy and being genuine. I think that genuity and that authenticity is what I want to be known for. Like, he was the proper deal. Do you know what I mean? Like, no matter how far I take it, I don't ever want to change, and I don't want to be like this. Like, I don't want to become like a superstar. Obviously, I want my music to go to different levels, but I don't want my personality and my ego to change. And I think that's the one thing I want to keep my true roots intact. But yeah, I guess if I want to be remembered for something, it's obviously that. But in terms of anything, I want the music to do the talking rather than me. Obviously, my personality, I want to be authentic, but I want my music to be like what's remembered. Like, if you said, "Oh, do you know Ben Rainey? Oh yeah, he did that track, he did that. Oh mate, I had some great nights to that. A beef for 2028, or you know, I was in Dubai and I was dancing and I met my girlfriends on the dance floor. You know, all them kind of stories."
Yeah, amazing.
That's what I want, bro.
Fantastic. So how can listeners make 2021 their year?
That's a good question, because it's what I'm asking myself at the minute. I think it's the main thing what we spoke about. The good thing is I do say the same thing a lot, but it's because it's real and it's raw. Consistency. If you're somebody that's listening to this podcast at the beginning of the year or in the middle of the year, no matter where it is really, but let's say it's the beginning of the year when this is looking to get released and you're looking to do something. If you say you're going to do it, because there's a lot of talkers in life and there's not a lot of doers. Like, you've told me your plans and I believe that you'll do it. You know, I've been doing the same thing for a long time and the progress is it feels like the main progress has been made in a short time, but what people don't see is long time. You have to stick with it and you have to be consistent. And kind of as well, one thing that I made a mistake of, and I still do, because as I've just mentioned, I've got a lot of different businesses and different things, is you can't give 100% to everything. And I think if my advice would be to someone else, probably give 100% to one thing. Like, if you say you want to be a DJ, be a DJ. If you say you want to play the piano, play the piano. If you say you want to write a book, write a book. Don't write a book and then try and do a million other things, because it's like you've got your plan. I won't unveil anything, but you've got your plan and you've got a good way of doing it. And the way we talked about off camera was amazing, but like, you're not doing anything crazy out of that. Like, you're doing the right things that are in line with your goal. Whereas a lot of the time I'll be like, right, I want to make music and stuff, but then I'll start doing other random stuff. Like, it doesn't really affect my life in any way. Like, I just take too many things on. I think you've got to have a clear vision. And as well, I think writing things down and planning and journaling is a really good thing. It's one thing I haven't stuck with, again, consistency, but it's a good thing to do. Like, when you're journaling and you're making notes, you really do kind of like, you have to address it like at the end of every day and the morning, and that would really help me. And it's probably my New Year's resolution is to start journaling again, and my gratitude, you know, what I'm happy, what I'm grateful for, and kind of all that kind of thing, bro.
Amazing. Yeah, definitely. And I found journaling, I only sort of really access it when I really need it, but what I need to do is make sure I access it all the time. And I've still got this journal in the cupboard. And it only ever comes out, I'll flick back and I think the last entry was ages ago, but it is so useful. I definitely recommend that.
Yeah, I'm the same as you though. I only do it when I really need to, and I think that's another good little bit of advice for anyone. Is like, I'm one of these people. I'll eat really well for like 3 days. I start feeling real good, so then I stop. It's again consistency with everything, because I'll go running for I'll do like three 10Ks or 5Ks in 3 days. Feel great. I'll be eating clean. So then the next 3 days I'll eat sugar and chocolate and shit. And you've got to balance things. You've got to keep at it, because the journaling, even if nothing's going on in your life, it's a good thing that you're having to think to find what to write in it, because it means that you clear mind and you focus, and then you know that you're doing that. Whereas if you don't journal and you don't stick to it, yeah, just consistency is the winner, man. It's so easy to say it here and for me to say it and you to say it, but we all need to do it, and it's the hardest thing to do.
Yeah. Hopefully this when this podcast lands in February, the aim is that people have the January peaks of like New Year's resolutions, new routines, and then it sort of starts to fade away at the beginning of February. Hopefully this will give them that little kick up the backside to keep going and not let it slip, really. Finally then, where can listeners find you on social media and things?
All Daily Mail's top 10 sexy list. Yeah, no, that everywhere. I don't know, just Ben Rainey on social media. To be honest, my tags are literally just Ben Rainey. Sometimes it says DJ, but if it was from before I started DJing, it actually says FC for all FC. And I can't change it. So like people always ask me, like, why are you called Ben Rainey FC? And I'm like, oh, I'm an FC fan. But yeah, no, just use it. I've got one of them names that not a lot of people have, so you'll just put my name and you'll find me. Yeah,
brilliant. I encourage all listeners to go and find Ben. And Ben Rainey FC, so it's not a plan to launch a football club in the future?
No. I'll stick to my music academy.
Well, thank you, Ben, so much for. I've just been really blown away by some of the stuff that we've talked about today, and I really believe that listeners will find this hugely inspiring. Be sure to check out Ben on all the social media platforms, and also check out some of the courses and the content that he's putting out there as well. It's very useful. Thank you very much, Ben.
I appreciate that, mate.
Watch me not stop though.